Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Their time in government ended unhappily, I think it's fair to say, for the Libdems, with only 8 of their MPs left standing after the general election. During the coalition years, their base in local government was decimated as well. Will the party, renowned for its pavement politics, start winning back council seats in next month's local elections in England? The Lib Dem leader, Tim Farron, joins me. Marr, welcome to you. Now, great thing to be a party leader, but this party leader in these circumstances, not so much. I don't know whether it's a hospital pass or a poison chalice, or a poison chalice thrown at you as a hospital pass. But it's been pretty rough for you, hasn't it?
It's a tremendous challenge. There's the euphemism you can have for the morning. But it's a joyful one. I mean, the result we had last May was, of course, devastating. But yes, I can't change that. What I can affect is how we go forward. And what's happened since last May has been this remarkable upsurge in our membership, 50% increase in the membership. And, you know, people like you and I who keep an eye on these things know that every Thursday there's a clutch of council by-elections, 100 or so of them since last May. And staggeringly, against everybody's expectations, the party that's gained more seats and more votes than anybody else have been the Liberal Democrats. So there is a real sense of us coming back. But I'm absolutely clear this was not a 12-month job. We've got a big job ahead of us. But I think the state of British politics requires the Liberal Democrats to recover, so we better had.
Now, your former party leader did what he thought was absolutely the right thing for the country, going into coalition with the Conservatives and doing his best and trying to liberalise policies and so forth. As a result, they stabbed your party in the back, jumped all over you with their tackety boots and nearly finished you off. Will you ever go into any kind of relationship with the Conservative Party again?
Well, I didn't join the Liberal Democrats as a smart career move, but I didn't join us either to cop out and to avoid power. If you want to change the world, you've got to be prepared to get involved with power. And, you know, you look back over the last 12 months,
you wouldn't go back for more with these people, would you?
Well, I want us to be in power. I mean, I think, you know, you learn from the lessons of what's gone by, but I actually think that all of us collectively as a country have learned over the last 12 months. You see the attack on our schools through forced academisation, the attack on junior doctors. You look at the dismantling of the green energy programme the Liberal Democrats brought in, and it's a reminder to everybody what the Liberal Democrats were doing great things and stopping dreadful things.
Some people look at your party conference last time and you see your opposition to fracking and your enthusiasm for decriminalising cannabis, and they say, is the Liberal Democrats going back to the sort of open-toed sandals of the 1970s? These issues are important to a lot of people, but they may seem marginal to the great issues facing the country.
Well, I mean, they're all evidence-based policies, but our fundamental approach is about how we rebuild from the grassroots up. We have the local elections and indeed the elections in Scotland and Wales and here in London on May the 5th, and our job is to build back up from the grassroots, to give people the opportunity to vote for somebody who has got a credible plan for their area. But it also means, you know, tackling the big issues. I mean, we've got to confess, I think, haven't we, all of us, that one of the reasons why a pretty dreadful Conservative government is getting away with things at the moment is because they have the most effective, well, I would say so, but the most shambolic and ineffective official opposition in living memory under Jeremy Corbyn. I've got nothing against the man, he's a nice fella. It's not that he's an extremist, it's just that Labour are the worst opposition in history. So we have got to recover, we've got to provide people with a real alternative, and that's what we're going to do.
Give me an example of a policy where you think you can defeat the government. And I'm going to give you a hint. It's to do with child refugees.
I was going to say tomorrow.
It's a vote tomorrow.
You didn't need to give me a hint, Andrew. It's all my focuses at the moment are absolutely in trying to defeat the government tomorrow on the proposal, the Alf Dubs amendment we've been campaigning for 6 months.
So to be clear, this is about Britain taking more child refugees who are already inside the EU.
Specifically unaccompanied minors within Europe, refugees. We reckon there's about 30,000, Save the Children reckon about 30,000 in Europe. Absolutely devastatingly, we also reckon that 10,000 of those 30,000 have gone missing, and they will be in the hands of traffickers, some of them, you know, sexually exploited. So what Save the Children are proposing, what the Liberal Democrats have been behind for the last 6 to 9 months, is a proposal that Britain just takes our fair share, 3,000 of those unaccompanied children from the camps in Europe. And given, you know, my challenge to Theresa May, who you'll be speaking to in this very spot in just a few minutes' time, is, you know, you on Monday, Theresa, tomorrow, and David Cameron have the opportunity to help those children and prevent that trafficking to take place.
And you've got some Conservative MPs on your side. Others will say this is going to just draw more children, encourage people in Syria and elsewhere to send their children into the EU in the sure knowledge that they will eventually get a safe refuge in Britain?
So I don't think that's the case at all. I mean, what we know is that there are something like 4 or 5 million refugees fleeing from the region, and a fraction, maybe a quarter of them, are in Europe. So the idea that Europe is the only place these people are heading is not true. But Europe is one of the places people have gone to. And I've been to the camps. I've seen families absolutely devastated, people who fled, war and persecution, the threat of death for them and their children, and they took an enormous risky decision to cross the water to come to Europe. Why? Because what they left behind was riskier still. And my question to Theresa May and
tomorrow's vote.
It is.
Can you win it, do you think?
Yes, of course we can.
You can win this.
And my question to every Conservative MP, to Theresa May and to David Cameron is, if you were in the situation of these Syrian refugees, if your children were like these unaccompanied children in Europe now, what would you want other countries to do for you? The answer is obvious.
All right, final question. You've got these local elections coming up, but eventually there'll be another general election. What does recovery look like for the Liberal Democrats? Double figures of MPs?
Good question. I mean, it's all nil-nil at the moment. Every election starts as a level playing field, and I would love us to be starting 50 seats higher than we currently are.
Yeah.
We're not. And so our way back to a serious central part in British politics is to win in these elections coming up now in local government across England. And it's about
the most elected councillors this time round is your measure of
I
success.
want us to make sure we make progress on the ground and to earn people's votes, because the reality is most people expect politicians to let them down. And what I want to challenge the Liberal Democrats across the country to do is to prove the electorate to the electorate that there is a difference about the Liberal Democrats. We can bring a freshness and a decency to serve people in their communities, do what Liberals always did, but do it better than ever before. Roll our sleeves up and do community politics.
Tim Farron, mostly I have to talk to you down the line. It's been very nice to have you in the
Lovely
studio.
to be here in
Thank you
person.
very much indeed.
I've been getting away with it all my